Oh shit, I think we're live. Hey folks, how you guys doing? It's Will Patterson here from Tight End Loose Out. I am with my co-host, the man of many words, the announcer of Lorain County Speedway, the announcer of Painesville Speedway, the one and only Dynamite Dave Wallencheck. Here, this works so much better. This works so much better.
Thank you, Willie. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be joining you here on this hot, beautiful, former rainy Wednesday night. Just sitting here in Elyria, Ohio. Had my girl and her kids just leave, so that was kind of cool. But we're here on another Wednesday night to talk some super modified racing.
Brother, let me tell you something, man. The sun stole my soul today. I had an event today where I was able to go out and golf this afternoon. And let me tell you something, it was probably the worst idea I've ever had. Well, I didn't have the idea, but probably one of the worst things that I ever agreed upon. I would say probably about an hour into golfing today, I was like, I can't do this shit. I really can't. And for you guys that want to know, like, yeah, I played like complete shit. It was just too hot. It was miserable today. And I'm sure it's probably miserable up there in Ohio too. But let me tell you something. You guys ain't seen miserable heat until you come down here and see what the heat's like here in South Florida in August. It was just ungodly. I'm not even kidding you. I lost 6 pounds golfing today. I lost 6 pounds. That's no kidding. Yeah, that's that's how bad I was sweating today for sure. So yeah, it's a whole different level of heat. So anyways, Dave, how was your weekend, buddy? How was your week leading up to today? What do you got going on, brother?
Man, my week was fantastic, Willie. We had a fantastic night doubleheader at Painesville Speedway Friday and Saturday. It all went to Zach Broncala, who lost his life in October of last year, got into a car accident. So we dedicated the weekend to him. Friday and Saturday, great turnout, 147 lap enduro race. It took an hour and 10 minutes to run with 2 red flags. So kudos to the drivers, for staying patient and being aware of what's going on out there. Congratulations to all the winners that were out there. But now we got another doubleheader coming up this week here, Willie. Trident Nationals starting tomorrow with Little Lorain for the little guys and girls out there for the go-kart track. And then Friday, we got all of our preliminaries, a couple features on Friday. And then Saturday, it's the granddaddy of them all. Well, it's not the Daytona 500. It's the Trident Nationals out at Lorain Raceway Park. So if you guys ain't doing nothing, I suggest you guys come out. I heard there's about 60 street stocks that are registered for this event, and people keep adding to the purse for for the Trident National. So hopefully we get a bunch of cars out there and a bunch of fans. 2 more races left after this out at Lorraine Raceway Park. And you guys heard the announcement. It is for sale. So if you guys know anybody who wants to buy that, direct them to the Maggios on Facebook. They'll be more than happy to sit down and talk to you and see what you got to offer, and maybe you guys can work something out and buy the racetrack. So
Yeah,
that's what we got going on, Willie. But other than that, man, had a good week, man. It's just been hot, rained a little bit today, but I'm happy, man. I'm ready to go, getting ready to do high school football. Next Thursday's my first game.
yeah, I seen that. Congratulations on that new gig, brother. Yeah,
Thank you. Producing for WOBL. I've been working with Gary and them over there. So thank you for Gary and the whole crew over at WOBL for giving me the opportunity to do that. I'll be working with the A team, as they like to call it, Don and Dave G. So hopefully, maybe, just maybe, you get to hear this voice on WOBL or WDLW sometime here in the near future. I can't say when. I don't know. I got to take my licks first and learn how to run the board, which I'm okay with. I'd much rather come in that way than, just have a spot given to me. I want to earn it and show them what I can do. So I'm ready to roll, man.
that's good.
Next Thursday, big game, Willie. Big game. St. Ignatius at Avon.
Really?
At Avon Stadium. First game.
So for you guys that don't know, St. Ignatius is a powerhouse Catholic school in Cleveland area. They've won some high school national championships back in the 90s, and they're nowhere near what the powerhouse that they once were, but they're still a powerhouse. And Avon is an up and coming that just won the Division II state championship last year. So that's going to be a really big game right there. So yeah, I'm gonna be tuning in for that for sure. Have to go ahead and have to watch that. So with that being said, folks, I got 15 people on already, at least on this page. If you guys could go over and hit that like button, hit the love button, hit the mad button, hit something on there, like it, love it, share it, let everybody know about this show. Let everybody know about
I put it up for him.
There you go. Redline Radio Network. Like and share it. Go over and like Redline Radio Network, if you guys could, please. Like Tight End Loose Out. Follow William Patterson. Follow Tight End Loose Out also as well. For any type of information, super modifieds or anything like that, I'm telling you guys, I'm always posting stuff all the time about super modified stuff. And I really would like if you guys could at least go ahead and just hit the like button. If you guys could share it, I'd be greatly appreciative of that. But remember, hit that like button, people. I cannot thank you guys enough. Those likes is what causes an algorithm, and that algorithm is what makes it share out to more people, to more masses. To people, I've had people say like, "Hey, I can't find your show." Blah, blah. I'm like, "Hey, look, this is where you need to go. This is how you find it." So then I've had people like, "Oh, I found your show finally." So help people. This is how we get people in the grandstands, folks. All right. This is how we fill them grandstands up again at these super modified races. We need this. So we're talking super modifieds all the way from Maine, all the way now out to California. All right. We're stretching the map here, folks. We're going coast to coast now with super modified information. And I appreciate whatever you guys could do, whatever you guys could help out. My weekend was pretty lazy. Didn't do anything. I tried to play a round of golf on Sunday. That got rained out after 9 holes. Let's see here. Work. We're getting busy. We were slow. I was slow for a couple weeks there. We're getting really busy now, and things are starting to pick up a little bit. Not dramatically, but I know when I get back from Classic, it's going to be crazy. I already know, because that's going to be full bore hurricane season. People start freaking out right now. So for you guys don't know, I am a roofing manager, roofing representative. So that's kind of like a sales manager, not the manager of the whole damn company. He won't let me run the whole damn company. Ain't that damn stupid. But no. So that's what's pretty much going on with that. And that's what's going on with my life. So with that being said, let's get to our sponsors. Dave, you still got me, brother?
I do have you.
Okay. All right, then. It looked like something on here said mute for a second. I was just going ahead and, so with that being said here, let's go ahead and put these up right here. So we have, just like to go ahead and welcome everybody to the Fisher Custom Printing Studio here in Naples. We're at Fisher Custom Printing. They see this beautiful sign they did right here. They did that for me, you know. They do everything. They do all types of promotional things. They do t-shirts. They letter race cars. They do cups and glasses and all types of tchotchke stuff that you might want for your business. If you have a storefront business and you want to have lettering on there, go ahead and get a hold of Clay and Bethany, and they'll be more than happy to go ahead and take care of you. Use promo code Tight End Loose Out, and you'll go ahead and get yourself a 10% discount, maybe a little bit more. It all depends how generous they are that day. But I guarantee you'll get some type of discount. Their phone number is 440-371-8424. That's 440-371-8424. And that's Fisher Custom Printing, based out of Wellington, Ohio. And they do ship, all right? They can ship you the lettering. They can ship you nice things like this, you know, any type of promotional things that you might have or that you might want, they'll take good care of you. And then we have Kingsley's Mowing out of Oswego, New York. Use promo code I love the black guy, and you'll get yourself a 10 or 15% discount. Also, you can use promo code DJ Heat. I can't say this word, so I'm sorry if you guys don't understand what it is, but it's it just I can't get it off my lips. But I just want to go ahead and say thank you to Kingsley Mowing. Phone number is 315-751-1160. Jason Kingsley is doing all types of mowing all around the Fulton and Oswego, Mexico areas out there. So yeah. Then we got Catalone's Pizzeria. You'll never find a meater calzone than at Catalone's. That's right, home to the stuffed crust pizza. Nobody can fill a crusty crack better than Big Zach. That's right. Based out of Hannibal, New York. And then you got Rupert's Party Rentals. At Rupert Party Rentals, the party starts with us. They have tables, chairs, tents, dunk tanks, and bounce houses. To get a hold of Dennis Rupert, his phone number is 315-532-4304. He covers a large area around the Fulton, New York area, Oswego, Scriba, Mexico. He might even go into Syracuse, folks. So if you guys got any type of parties going on, any type of first communions, any type of weddings, anything that you guys want to throw a kegger in the backyard, you guys need tables and tents and chairs, go ahead and get a hold of Dennis Rupert. He'll be more than happy to take care of you. Use promo code Tight End Loose Out, get yourself a 10% discount, and tell them we sent you. You know, please, people, if you guys got something going on and these sponsors are in your area, get a hold of these people. I just want to go ahead and touch on Rupert's Party Rentals for a little bit, and just let you guys know, we can 100% confirm this right now, folks, that we are going to have a dunk tank on Saturday in the back, just off of Turn 3 gate there on the concrete pad at 2:00, where we are going to have SBS drivers, 350 super modified drivers, and big block super modified drivers. 2 drivers from each division. Okay, that's 6 drivers we're going to have, and we're going to have them in the dunk tank. It's going to be, you get 5 balls for $20, and you get to go ahead and try to go ahead and get those drivers dunked by throwing the ball at the bullseye. And if you hit the bullseye, the driver falls down into the water. He's got to get back up again. So and this goes to benefiting the drivers in the SBS class, the 350 class, and the big block class. So drivers, I am calling out you right now. I need drivers to get a hold of me that's planning on running one of those 3 divisions and say, hey, Willie, I want to get inside the dunk tank. And I'm telling you guys right now, it all benefits. So it's not what the 350 guys bring in, what the SBS guys, and what the big block guys bring in. It's what all you guys bring in. and one special driver from the 350 series, one special driver from the SPS, and one special driver from the big block will get their name drawn out of a hat, and they will get a third of whatever we made out of the dunk tank, out of the Calcutta dinner that we serve at the Calcutta, where we do donations, where we have pulled pork. And we plan on doing that too at the Calcutta at the camp also too, right by the cell phone tower. You guys know it's going to be around 1 o'clock on Saturday. And then we're going to leave from the Calcutta. We're going to walk up about 100 yards, and we're going to have the dunk tank also as well. I will be the MC for that. And if we get enough people, I myself will get into the dunk tank also as well. All right. Just to let you guys know. And I don't need to get paid for it at all. It's just about making money for you guys, and you guys know that already. So it's hopefully we get a good turnout. That's what I'm hoping for. So with that being said, see here. Okay. So then we got the next one is Al AJ Miller. Al AJ Millers came on board last year, owner of the number 69 350 Super Modified. Al, I appreciate all the help and all the love and everything that you do for the show. Actually, my sponsor, Clay Carl, that drives for Al, he sponsors me. Al sponsors me. I have a very close, tight niche tie with this race car. I really do. I know Al is planning on going up to Oswego and bringing the car for the Classic, and he might be going to another race a little further north the next weekend also as well. So I can't go ahead and divulge all the information, but I was told that if they make it through Classic, they might just leave the car there and then just come back the next week and just take it up another, I don't know, what is it, 6 or 8 more hours further northeast. So I guess we'll just have to just wait and see. But thank you, Al, for all your support and everything that you do for Super Modified Racing. Yeah. And then we have Atkins Glass. Atkins Glass, based out of Sandusky, Ohio. They do all sorts of automotive and RV windshield replacement glass. If you have any type of cracked windshield or anything like that, and you're in the Sandusky area, go ahead and get a hold of Atkins Glass. They're based out of Sandusky, Ohio. Phone number is 419-625-8421.
That's all we got, Willie, on my end.
Okay. All right, then. So you can go ahead and just go back to the Fisher Custom, because I actually do have a new sponsor here, and it's a legitimate. Right. This is a legitimate sponsor here, folks. All right. They gave us the money last week, and I have to honor this guy. But I like to go ahead and welcome personally for sponsoring the show, Big Daddy Mike Smoky Meats. Mike Smoky Meats is actually a real guy, and he smokes, and he's got the best smoked meat around. He's doing the pulled pork for the Calcutta at Oswego for the Calcutta, so that's going to be really good. So everybody come on down, get yourself a big handful of Big Mike's meat, and let me know how you guys like it. I'm telling you guys right now, this is no joke. This is real. Big Mike's Smoky Meats, and it's delicious. I've had Mike's meat before. It is very juicy. It is very tender, and I don't know what more to say about it. I'm telling you guys right now. So when you guys come on down, I'll have the table set up. I'll have the camera set up, and you guys can tell me all about how great Mike's meat is in your mouth. I'm telling you, it's gonna be so juicy for sure. And then we have Big Chief's Tax Service. Nobody cooks the books better than the Big Chief. Owner and operator Greg Calicerdo, based out of Oswego, New York. You got any taxes or anything like that going on, go ahead and get a hold of the Big Chief's Tax Service. Phone number is 1-800-COK-BOOK. And then we have, let's see here. We did that one right here. Oh, JC's Custom Woodworking. Okay, folks, you guys ready? And we're going to talk about this here in a little bit. Jason Carter has officially made me the wooden flag. So I am telling you guys all right now if you share this video, this show live, okay? If you share it and make it public, all right, so I can see who shared it. then you will be put into a drawing for this wooden flag that Jason Carter handmade to himself. We will ship it to your house. It'll come to your front door, and you'll be, oh my God, thank you so much, Will. So that's all you have to do. You have to like Tight End Loose Out. You have to share the show, and you have to make sure that the show is shared publicly. All right. So just to let you guys know right now, is his meet at the Calcutta a fundraiser for the racers? Yes, it is. It is the fundraiser for the racers. So whatever you guys donate to Mike's Meats, Mike's big, juicy, thick meats, you guys will go ahead and just all that goes to the racers for the SBS class, the 350 class, and the big block class. Thank you very much, Gene, for clarifying that up right now. So then what else we got? So we got Jason. So nobody plays with the wood better than JC. JC Custom Woodworking. You'll find him on Facebook. I'm telling you right now, go to JC Custom Woodworking. He does a great job. He just made some Buffalo Bill chairs. I'm telling you guys right now, you guys will love it. Then you got the last sponsor, last but not least, you have Fowler Bush Trimming. Nobody can trim a bigger bush than Big Lenny. At Fowler Bush Trimming, no bush is too tough. Based out of Oswego, New York. Phone number is 315-069-BUSH. So here you guys go. That's all of our sponsor. Mike Clary, thank you very much for coming on the show and being a sponsor on the show. I'm telling you guys right now, his meats, they're thick. It's juicy. It's very tender. And I think you guys are really going to like it. I hope. Does that come across right? Does that sound gross? I don't know. It's I think it's good, so I like Mike's meat, and maybe you guys will too. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is what you guys all came on the show for. You guys didn't come on here to hear me talk and BS the whole time. You guys came on here for my guests. I've had many of people reach out to me and say, let's get this guy on the show. I've been trying to get this guy on the show now for about at least a good year now. He's been ducking me. He's been dodging me. And this time, when I reached out to him, I said, you cannot say no to me this time because, brother, I got to have you on the show. Like I told everybody yesterday in the pre-show, to let you guys know who the guest was going to be, that this is going to probably be one of the most technical shows that we're going to have. It's going to be funny. I promise you that right now. We're going to be sharing a lot of stories. This will probably be the most bench racing show that we've had yet to date. And I love to do shows like that. He's a longtime personal friend of mine. He's known me since I was a teenager. And so that, folks, is a very long time. So, folks, please go ahead, put your hands together for the one, the only, Mike Satursky.
Hello, gentlemen.
Why you insult me already when we first start the show already? Call me a gentleman.
Well, I don't want you to look like a bad guy all the time.
Yeah, I do a good job of that myself. So, hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy? What you been up to?
We're good. Just today was a big hectic. Had to go pick up tires for this weekend.
So, what's that process like? Let's let the world know what that process is like for you.
Well, what they do is on Wednesdays at 6:00 they open the tire trailers, and we have to go in and pick out what we want for the weekend. Leave the rear tires there so that nobody is cheating, and we can bring our fronts home and get them mounted. So it's half the things we don't have to do in a rush on Saturday.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good that they do that for you guys. I mean, it's. Are you guys allowed to mount your wheels, your rears, or do they just have to just sit in there?
We can't mount them. They frown on it.
What does mounting have to do with it? Like they're sitting inside storage. Like what could possibly happen?
Well, they're probably afraid that while you're mounting it, you're going to put something in it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess so. So, I mean, you're going to stack them. They're going to lay on their side. So if you put something in it, all it's going to do is soften the sidewalls.
Right.
Not my racetrack, not my monkey, not my clown, not my circus. That's
well, if we did soften the sidewalls, it'd be like going back to the 2-plies that we used to run back, I don't know, 30 years ago that were really good tire.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
we're gonna so get into all this type of stuff. So, Mike, you've been around the game for what seems like forever. Let's go back to the beginning, and then we'll work our way all the way up into current time. Like I tell everybody, it's going to Wayback Machine. How old were you when you first went to your first race?
I was either 4 or 5. I don't remember. The first thing I really remember was going to the 70 Classic.
Okay.
That would have made me 5.
Wow. You are old, aren't you?
And I haven't missed one since.
You've never missed a classic.
Not since 70.
Not since 1970. Wow. Jesus. Good grief. I haven't. I've missed, I think it's 4 or 5 I've missed since 82. So yeah, I can't even, like I said, I can't even hold a candle to you, brother, when it comes to your history in super modified racing. So as a kid growing up, what got you hooked into super modified racing? Was it just going to Oswego every weekend? Was it your father? Was it your family? Was it a neighbor down the road that took you to the races for the first time?
Well, actually, what happened was my great grandmother on my mother's side used to take her, and I just followed along. Grandma Corey was a big Jack Murphy fan. Never ever met him. My mom didn't meet him until later in life, and he was just another guy in the pits for me. Being around, he was an official, and we're friends. Not, I don't want to say competitors, but he was. You walk the line. This is the rule. That end of it.
Yeah, yeah. So, who was your favorite driver growing up as a kid? Who was the one that you cheered for up in the grandstands?
Well, it depended on who was in which heat race. I was a big Jim Chaney fan. Loved the red Holinsky car. And of course, most of the kids' favorite back then was Champagne. So not that I jumped on the bandwagon, that was a cool green car.
Uh-huh. But you did jump on the bandwagon though.
Yeah.
So, how old were you when you first got involved with racing? Like when you finally started coming to the, let's see here, Rob says, give me 1 second here. Let me read this question here. Rob goes, let me come right out of the gate strong. I'll throw it out here. Satursky for the Oswego Hall of Fame. He's definitely given a lot to the sport and has always been a great ambassador to the sport and super modified racing and Oswego Speedway. Satursky Hall of Fame 2025. Rob, I could not agree anymore. I know Satursky's not going to go ahead. He's a very modest guy. I know he is, but I give credit where it's due, and I think it's time. So you know what you got to do, Rob? You got to message Roy Sova on Facebook and get a hold of Mike Satursky and say, hey, Mike, what accomplishments have you done? And hopefully you can go ahead and get them off the show that we're going to talk about that today. And you can write Roy Sova to go ahead and put Mike Satursky into the Hall of Fame. And maybe Roy Sova is going to watch this episode. Maybe he'll say, you know what? I think it's time to put him in. So, Mike, I know you. You're too damn modest, and you don't give a shit if you go in or if you don't go in, do you?
No, not really.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
It's a pretty prestigious thing for the people who are in there. There's plenty of people out there that deserve to be in there that people don't even know who they are.
Right. A lot of behind the scenes people right there.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. And Rob, thank you very much for go ahead and firing out the gate. But so as I asked you, how old were you when you first started turning wrenches on a super modified, or even on a race car for in general? I'm just taking it for granted.
Was like 74, 75. Paul Strasser came into town. Jimmy Ferlito introduced my parents to him, me. So we started hanging out with them guys and helping them out when they came to Oswego. And that's how I started spending summers in Sandusky way back then. And my first real job working on a super was I learned how to do fiberglass work from Paul's brother, Thad, because Paul had an affection of breaking the fiberglass on the Holinsky car. and we had a couple noses in rotation, and I got to learn how to fix them. You know, it was just one less thing Thad had to do. At 10 years old, how many kids know how to do fiberglass?
Right. No kidding. So you went out there for the summers. How many summers did you go out there for?
I think 3.
Okay. And
But-
is that how you met like all the people from like down there in southeast Ohio and stuff? Because you've told me you've been to a lot of like racetracks and stuff that I thought you've never even been to before.
Yeah. Actually not. There was this kid named Roland James that I was really good friends with since I was like 6, 7 years old. And my dad had taken me camping, and I says, I'm not missing the races. I made Mom come get me from camp. I'm home, go to the races, sit with Roland. You know who Roland is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We always called him James. You guys called him Baldy Jr.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Come home Saturday night, go to the races, getting ready to leave the races. He's with us. Mom, is it okay if I go to Ohio this week? And I think I spent like 4 weeks that summer with them guys traveling back and forth to the races and all that. And that's where I met the lower Ohio gang.
Yeah. Yep.
So
that's where you got the probably met Doug Steiner's dad, and all those
Yep.
all those people are all running around together for sure. Baldy Baker's Senior, and Roland is obviously, for you guys don't know who Roland is, it's Baldy Baker Jr. So he went, his original name was Roland, and
Yep.
but he went with the driving moniker of his dad's name. So for you guys that don't know about that, so I know that you're. I every time I post something about Mal Hewitt, which was a great super late model driver out of the Ohio area, won a lot of races across the country, to be honest.
Captain Sizzle.
Captain Sizzle, that's it, brother. Yep. And his son just won yesterday on Flow on the All-Star Circuit of Champions race. It was his first ever All-Star Circuit of Champions race. So congratulations. I highly doubt they're watching this, but congratulations to the Malkett family on their win last night. But so you did that for, what would you say, 3 or 4 summers?
Yeah. Till I think it was like 78.
Okay.
And then they kind of stopped coming to Oswego. I don't know what happened there. I think it was kind of a technology thing. The cars were starting to switch over. Champagne had brought out the offset car, and they had an 8-inch Holinsky car.
Right. So their shit was just getting outdated then.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what did you do after that? I mean, how old were you when you were doing that? You said like 10 years old?
Yeah, when I started.
So you started spending summers back home in the Oswego.
Yeah.
And so when was the next time you started working on another race car?
Well, then lo and behold, Jimmy Ferlito shows up again. This is the guy you really need to get on the show. He's got more stories than there is time in a year.
Uh-huh.
He said, well, we got some friends coming up bringing this race car from Texas. Mom and Dad were like, okay, they'll be here at the beginning of August. We'll get together, have a meet and greet dinner thing at the house. And we're like, okay. So we go out there, and there's these 2 guys straight out of Texas. You can hardly understand what they're saying. You got Randy Dorman, which was Chet Phillips' left-hand man, and Chet. And then I finally got to meet Corey and Marvin later in life. But yeah, we spent a couple summers with the Phillipses racing with the rear engine car to Oswego and wherever we went. I think we went to Sandusky, got upside down. Got snowed out at Thompson that year. But
was that for the icebreaker?
No, that was the fall race for the World Series.
Yeah, the World Series race. Okay, yeah. So I don't know if they ran them. I think it's icebreakers at Stafford. It's not at.
The icebreaker is at Thompson in
Thompson?
first part of April.
Okay. All right. Well, which it wouldn't be surprised if it would snow out up there.
Yeah, you got to be careful when you're talking about, that type of car, because Fowler might show up.
For you folks that don't know, that's Lenny Fowler, proud sponsor of the show here at Fowler's Bush Trimming. Nobody trims a bush like Lenny Fowler. No muff is too tough bush is too tough for Lenny Fowler. But with that being said, Larry Tranka says, hi, Mike. So he's on the show here, is watching. Got some good views right now. Hey, folks, if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that like button for me. I'd appreciate it, man. It just helps the algorithm out. Appreciate you guys coming on. If you guys got any questions for Mike Satursky, feel free to go ahead and jump online here and put the questions out there for Mike. We're going to have a full show of good things to talk about. So, Mike, you were at the Texas gang for a while. Did you guys win any races? I mean, some good runs or what?
We had, because of the way the car was configured, the motor was in the correct direction, but it was a reverse rotation motor. So in doing that, you had to put the ring gear on the other side in the rear end, and the rear ends were all machined, we'll say right hand. And this one was right hand and left hand. So the bearing carrier for the pinion shaft was very thin, and it used to break. We literally could get like 150 laps on a rear end before it broke.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. And that's including the race and heat race and hot laps. So that's a day's worth of racing then, almost.
Yep. Wow. We had I think a third at Oswego to Champaign winning with the rear engine car, his only win. And I think we had a fourth at Shangri-La with it.
Okay. All right.
But, had it had a traditional motor in it, the car was bad fast when it was good.
Gotcha. Yeah. What did you think about the rear engine cars? Like, when they came out, and they started showing promise, you see a lot of older people on people older than me, because when I first came in, they were phasing out the rear engine car. So I vaguely, barely remember the rear engine car. Because Ohio hung on to them for a little bit longer than Oswego did. Do you think, as an old school guy, and I'm not calling you old or anything like that, but you've been around a lot longer than I have, do you think that they should have kept them?
Had they kept them, safety wise, with the speeds we're already going, I think they would have been faster. So safety wise, no, they shouldn't have, but racing wise, I think that it would have been a closer stepping stone to Indy to giving the drivers the same feel.
Right. So kind of when they went to the offset motor hanging off the left side of the car, it kind of made super modified drivers obsolete to take the next step into Indy, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I think it cut off the roads. And then it turned into a money game to get to Indy. Right.
Well, yeah, that's like that with any type of big time racing nowadays. It's how big are your back pockets, for sure. So that's unfortunate, because there's no true racers anymore that can go and be able to support their racing, without having to break out the big bucks, as they say, so it's unfortunate, but I guess we'll get into that a little bit more further into the show. But so you went and did the rear engine deal. Whose car did you work on after that?
Well, we did a short stint with Chet on the IndyCar tour in '82.
Oh, see, I never knew that. And how old were you at this time?
16.
Okay. So was you traveling the country, or just going to a couple races here, a couple races there?
He only ran a few that season. We went to Indy. I literally went to school on Friday and told my teachers that I wasn't going to be here for a couple weeks. I didn't even I had one classmate that I talked to, because he always talked about racing. but never went to the racetrack.
Right.
And I told him where I was going. He's like, "Oh, that's cool." And that was his whole conversation. But he was the only one that knew where I was going.
So
And
you were there for the whole 2 weeks of Indy, like, you know,
yeah.
the
Well, it used to be a
testing.
month back then, but I was only there for a
Okay.
couple weeks.
Okay, all right. So up and down, did you guys make the show?
Yeah.
Okay. Where'd you guys finish at?
We got caught in the Danny and Gaius wreck. So we finished, I don't know, like 30th or something like that.
Okay. So what 16 years old, you're on pit road at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What was that like? I mean, being so young, you know, you didn't really grasp it as much as you do now with the internet and TV and this and that and all that other stuff. Like, what's that like now, knowing, you know, like that was you Indy 500?
Well, it was really different because a lot of times I had to play hide and seek because you weren't supposed to be in the pits until you were 18.
Okay.
But I had my credentials said I was old enough to be in there, and everybody's looking at this little, you know, kid that's, you know, shouldn't be in here, but he's in here. And probably the most amazing thing was standing on pit wall and watching the cars go by. From where we were pitted, you look down towards turn 4, and there was just a black spot. It had no color. It had nothing. It was a black spot. Then the closer it got to you, it got a color. And then it had black spots next to it. And then you could see what car it was. And next thing you know, it went by. Then you looked and it disappeared into turn 1.
That's got to be wild. I guess probably the closest I could say is probably Daytona. When I went to Daytona, it's like they look like little ants going down the back straightaway.
Yeah.
You know, and you just see them, and all of a sudden, you know, they're going fast, but you don't realize how fast they're going until they get like right in front of you, and all of a sudden it's this boom, 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 boom,
Yep.
boom. It's like, man, okay, what just happened here? So yeah, so
These sounded like a herd of vacuum cleaners going by.
All right. So you did the Indy 500 deal. You did the Indy Tour. You did that for a while, 16 years old. You've already done 6 years in open wheel racing, going all across the country, doing what? And so what was the next step for Mike Satursky after that?
Graduating high school. Getting out, trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I still don't know. 42 years later.
Right.
Still going to Oswego weekly, not really helping anybody, but watching and learning. Started hanging out with Bellingers for like a season and a half. Not really doing anything but watching Dennis Perry.
Okay.
I think one of the best tire guys that's been through the Speedway. And now he's a car owner for his son, Kyle, and they're doing pretty good.
I would say
outside
so.
These last 2 weeks.
Right. He hit a little rough patch here over the last couple of weeks. I'm pulling for him. Looks like it's going to be, you know, he's just got to go ahead and just keep all 4 wheels on the track, and I think he can go ahead and lock the championship up. But,
yeah,
you know, so
that's a definite.
Yeah.
And I was walking into the track one day, and Mike Stelter goes, "Hey," he says, "I need some help. Are you available?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can give you a hand." He says, "All right, meet me down here at this car." And I'm like, that was 85. And I'm like, all right. So I get down and I said, "What do you want me to do?" He says, "Well, you need to do this and this and this," you know, because we'd been friends since we were little kids. And went down there, and that's when I started working with Jerry O'Neill on the, I don't know what you want to call it, the show car.
Yes.
The adjustable show car, because you could move the motor back and forth in it, and it had independent front.
I had Dave Schulich on the show, and he was talking about that car. I think, and he said that thing was just wicked. It was just inconsistent. Like, you didn't know what it was going to do from one corner to the next. Like what it did going into turn one would do something completely different going into turn three.
Yeah, I think that was not part of the design, but the chassis flex was there because the motor compartment was so adjustable. There was nothing solid.
Right.
So I think that the chassis was just flexing in that middle section.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So it just twisted the car so much. It was like a spring.
yeah.
Yeah. So for
I
sure.
think he ended up getting one win with the car. I don't think he had more than that with it. But
I think that's all Dave got too with that car at Sandusky. I think he only got one win with that car at Sandusky also as well. And then they wound up parking it, or I think they wound up selling it to Gibson. To be honest, I think Todd Gibson wound up getting that car. And excuse me. So Jerry O'Neill, you won some races with those guys though back in the day.
A couple. Then we ended up going. I don't know how the whole conversation went, but Freddie Graves had built a couple cars. Paul Castilla had one, and Kevin Lyons had one.
Yep, remember Kevin Lyons. Yep.
And he says, I'm going to build a new car, talking to Alan Aronic, Jerry's owner. And I lived in Parrish at the time. Freddie's shop was in Mexico. They told me, hey, go over and give Freddie a hand. So I was like, I don't want to say a factory mechanic, but I was there for that car and about 6 others right off the bat, helping fabricate parts, pieces, running pieces back and forth, that kind of stuff. And we ended up winning. Would be my first race at Oswego. It was the ASA race in '86.
I was there for that. Yep.
And I got to meet my hero that night.
Darrell Waltrip?
Who?
Who was your hero?
Mark Martin.
Mark Martin. Yeah, that's true.
Still is.
Yep. Yep, for sure. Yep. He dominated. He dominated at that track, that race.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember that race. Very fond of that. That's when Bentley, that's the old famous picture of Darrell Waltrip inside Bentley Warren's backup car. And DW's got the open faced helmet. And they did a exhibition around the track with those two. Yep. So I've heard a story. Hevron's told me this story before. And I don't mean to get off base here, but Waltrip, I guess, went to the next race. And Hevron was there, and he walked over to Hevron. He said to him, he goes, I heard you used to be a pretty damn good driver in these cars up there in New York. I just took one out. He goes, are you crazy to drive those cars? I guess he was like really intimidated by it. But
yeah, I've heard the same, that, the biggest thing was they couldn't get the smile off his face because I think it was froze that way from going too fast.
Yes, that's for sure. Yes, without a doubt. So you got with Jerry O'Neill, you got with Graves, and Graves had a lot of success, mess load of success for sure. Before you know it, the Graves craze just took over.
It was good 6 or 7 years where if you didn't have a Graves car, you weren't winning races.
Right. But the funny thing is, you weren't winning a classic, though.
Yeah.
That is true. They went all the way until, what was it, 95 with Bellinger? Won their first classic?
Something like that. It wasn't right away. And
no,
it was just a fluke.
Yeah.
That nothing happened, before that.
Yeah. So let's get to the juicy stuff. What race team were you with when you won your first classic?
Well, that was my half and half season because I was working with O'Neill still, but we'd had some issues at the shop, and both Jerry and I and Mike left to ride in the Aronic 26, went to Jerry's house and tried to figure out what we were going to do. And I said, well, the 21's sitting home, Howard Hammond's car, the Tobin 21. And Albritton had run it a couple times the year before. Good program, great people to work with. So we called Howard and he got the ride. I don't know. I think he ran the car 4 or 5 times and it wasn't a consistent thing. As far as rides went. And he did that for like a year or so into this next year. And I said, if you don't get a Graves car, you're not going to win. So lo and behold, Jack says, well, we'll buy a Graves car. So they bought one. But in that time frame we weren't running, my friend Sean McGarry says, hey, he says, what are you doing? I need a hand at the shop. I can't get these guys to come and help work on the car. I says, I can come down. I was working in Liverpool, which was like 10 minutes from his shop. I stopped by twice a week, 3 times a week, help get the car ready. And he says, Warren's driving it. I says, Conium? He goes, yeah. I was thinking he was talking about the other Warren.
Yeah.
The old guy. Or the old kid, to put it better.
Right.
So I helped Sean most of the summer, and we're doing classic prep 2 weeks before, and we pulled the rear end out of the car, and Sean and I looked at one another and told Pat, his brother, we need a new rear end. This one's going to blow up. He says, there's nothing wrong with it. Put it back together. So we reshimmed it, put it back together. So classic comes around. Race is going along. I'm kind of torn. I'm watching the 21. I'm watching the 10 back and forth. Good race. And I'm watching, and that's when Gene Lee and Bentley were duking it out.
Yep.
For like 50, 60 laps. Hammering on one another, getting by, lead for a few laps. The other one goes back by. And Warren's just sitting there watching the show. And he decided, I think it was about 40 laps to go. It was time to go, and drove by both of them and kind of drove off into the sunset.
Yeah.
And
that was 1987, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
So, when Joe's got an indoor pool, McGarry, at his house, well, it turned into the biggest cooler I've ever seen in my life. There was like 100 cases of beer in the pool. Had to keep it cool so it didn't get warm. So we get back there. I think it's like Monday afternoon. Sean says, hey, you want to go to Star? I'm like, sure. So we got the car ready for Star. Still no rear end. Get up there, get into practice. 5th or 6th lap of practice, rear end blows.
Didn't have a spare, did you?
10 laps before that, he wouldn't have won the Classic.
Oh my God.
So
if that race would have oh my God.
So we rebuilt the rear end at the racetrack. That was back when the in and out boxes were still, some of them had him in the car. Well, this was one of the new winners that had the shifter in the cover, and nobody had parts for it. So we had to put a through shaft in it. We carried the car around all night on a jack because it was always in gear.
Yeah, it's just that you guys just locked it in gear.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How'd you guys do that race?
Terrible. We went out, we qualified like 15th or so, which got us in through time trials, and just, I think it was because we only had 6 laps of practice that we didn't get a really good car out of it. And we finished, but not well.
Right.
But we had fun.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what racing's all about, though, man. It's about fun. I mean, I know you got some great stories, to tell, and that's why I got you on here. Like I said, this is just, I'm sure Larry Trink is on here. He says, the 21 is how he met you.
Yep.
So, so That's so I'll tell a little brief bench racing story for myself. I never realized when a Canadian won how huge it was in Oswego when a Canadian won the classic, how big it was until Warren won that race. And that was a really huge deal. And my dad's like, he's like, this place is going to be close to getting burnt down tonight.
Oh yeah.
And it was just, it's wild. It's crazy. But definitely one of those things where I remember we were at our camper. And for you folks that go to Oswego or been there, right where the bowling alley's at, that all used to be full of campers. There was no bowling alley there. That was all campers. And right across the street from used to be the First Turn In. Now I think it's like an insurance place, or it's out of business place, or whatever the hell it is now. But there used to be a bar there called the First Turn In.
Yep.
And we camped our camper right there. And they had a Porter John sitting right there, just, I don't know, maybe 50 yards away from our camper. And this is where I learned that the French Canadians and the Canadians did not get along. I did not know this. So
separate countries.
Yeah, right. Apparently so. Yeah. So I was just telling this story to somebody. I think it was just like last week or something. And a French Canadian guy goes into and this is like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And French Canadian, and Dad's ready to break down camp. You know, my dad was a steel mill worker, so he was always used to being up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So he's breaking down camp. He's getting the lawn chairs up. He's putting them underneath, the camper and stuff in the storage place, and he's ready to go. So he hears these Canadians fighting and arguing, and this French Canadian guy goes into the Porter John. The Canadians rush the Porter John and push it down the hill, door side down first. Thing rolls, the thing rolls 3 or 4 times or whatever, lands on the door, and they left the guy there. They're just going to leave him there the whole time. So my dad, he walks over there and rolls it over. The guy comes out and he's cussing up a storm. Now, mind you, all right, I don't know if you remember my dad or not, Mike, but the only black guy on the property. Okay. So this guy's coming out and he's talking French. And my dad can't understand a word he's saying. My dad's gagging because the guy smells like just the most vile thing you've ever seen in your life. And so my dad tells him, like, stay right there. And so we always used to carry 5 gallons of water. We carried about maybe like 6 of them, just in case if we ever ran out of water at the racetrack, we always had water. And so had wound up going and give him some water. We gave him some shampoo and some bars of soap and wash rag and stuff like that. And he had to go into the woods there, and he had to like shower in the woods, and he comes out, thanks my dad. He like stark raving naked now. And my dad walks into the camper, and I remember I was helping my dad get all this stuff, and I'm watching this go on. And my dad walks in the camper, tells my mom, he goes, "Get up, we're leaving now." I said, "Mom, you should have seen it." So yeah, it was when a Canadian wins classic again, it's going to get wild. I don't think it's going to be wild near as much as it once was. Do you miss classic the way it went, like how it was in the 70s and 80s?
Yeah, it was more dense. There was a lot more people there. Like you said, that lower campgrounds, that's where I met 90% of the race people that I know. There was a tent over about where you're talking. There was a brown van there with a tent off the back of it. And I'm like, what the hell's going on over here? So I went in and snooped in there, and lo and behold, there's Brad and Dennis Lichty. They had a craps table in there. I don't know if they made money with their tent. We'll leave that part of that. Larry can verify it.
Well, it's funny to just say that because just outside of our camper, that's where they had the craps table. That was like 3 spots down from us. So yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. So yeah.
So I met all the Canadians that were in that area. Davey McKnight, I remember when they had the Roadster, when Warren was driving for him, we used to snap him. They had a leather cover for the cockpit. We used to snap Davey in the cockpit so he could go in the pits because he wasn't old enough to get in.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So John Smyers got on here. He says, "Hi, Mike." He goes, "You remember going to Baldy's house?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We so another brief story. And this isn't about me. This is about Mike. But like I said, me and Mike go way back. Mike remembers me back when I was 14, 15 years old working on John Hinnis's super modified, Ron Hinnis' super modified on the ISMA tour. But I remember I was just the story. I shouldn't say I remember. I've been told this story, but I was maybe 2 or 3 years old. Mom and Dad went down to Baldy's house, and they were holding me, and Baldy was there, and Baldy Jr. and Baldy's wife, and they walked in. Big John Evans took
Yep.
my mom and dad down there, and entered, and not, they already knew who he was, but they took him into the trophy room.
Yeah.
And the trophy room was like one of the most beautiful trophy rooms that you've ever seen in your life, is what my mother always said. If she was still alive, she was around, she would just awe about the trophies in there. Did you ever get to see the trophy room?
I have pictures, but I don't know where they are. I have one that's not very good. I'll have to dig it out, see if I can get it blown up so you can look at it at classic time when you're up. But there was trophies in there, 10, 12 years old. Actually, I was like 8, 9, 10 years old in that time frame when I was there. But there's trophies in there taller than me, 4 or 5 foot tall. And it's like, holy crap. And it wasn't 1 or 2. Like this room, I'm going to say was like 10 by 10, and it was full.
Right. Yeah.
And they were all clean. Gladys did an awesome job taking care of the house and everything, and the kids, but it was crazy, to walk into, only knowing this guy, a couple years, and my house is your house. You walk in and, hey, James would say, hey, what happened was, he goes, you want to go in the trophy room? And I'm like, what? I knew his dad raced. I knew his dad. I've seen him race.
Right.
And you walk in there, and it was just amazing to see all of these trophies. And it's like, you look at this one and it's got a plaque on it and it says 1967. This one says 1968. And it's like, holy crap. It just, the races he won all over the place.
Right.
To see all those trophies, it's like, someday I wanted a collection like that.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, same. Absolutely. I talked to Larry Gibson about his dad and Todd Gibson's trophy room. And
yeah.
I guess that was the same amount of caliber of what Baldy had also as well. I could just imagine all the trophies that Todd has won over his career. Yep. Also as well, not taking anything away from Baldy or Todd, but yeah, I'm figuring they're probably about neck and neck when it comes to trophy rooms. Yep. Let's see here, Chris Myers. This ought to be a doozy right here. Look at the head on that one, Satursky. See, like he never lets us down, does he, Satursky?
No.
The kid just doesn't let us down. I'm telling you, one of these days, I'm just going to bop him one, and then hug him after I'm done with doing it, though. That's the way the Baker family was, is what Tyrone Thomas said. Jim Koloka, maybe I might want to read this first. I'm not sure if you mentioned it at all beginning, but RIP to Mark Letcher. The guy was a legend. Yes, I am so sorry. And thank you very much, Koloka, for bringing that up. Yes, I've only got to meet him a few times over the years, but I don't think there's anybody that could ever say a bad word absolutely about Mark Letcher. Absolutely a legend of the sport and been around for many, many years. And I'd just like to go ahead and say, rest in peace, Mark, and prayers for all the family and friends that are affected by this for sure. So thank you, Koloka. I appreciate that. You got any stories with Mark?
Not really. That are PG.
Hey, well, let me tell you something. You can say all the cuss words on here too, but if you're going to get people in trouble, let's not do that.
Well, that's a story you would have to ask my daughter.
Oh, okay.
See if she'll fess up to what happened.
Okay, all right then. So I'll see her. I'll see her in a couple weeks. So I'll be sure to bring that up and ask her about it for
Yeah.
sure.
And make sure you go to the bathroom before you ask her, because I don't want you to wet your knickers.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's just people always ask me like, "Man, you're like really love Oswego," but you guys just don't understand, man. It's just it's a different atmosphere of racing up there, and just everybody's family up there. And it's how it used to be at Sandusky, and Sandusky lost its way, but Oswego is. It's not Oswego isn't what it once was. Like I remember back in the day when I first go there, everybody used to talk with everybody in the pits.
Yep.
Now it's right there. Everybody's in their box now. And you do have people like you and other people and stuff like that. They'll still bop around from pit stall to pit stall and bullshit with everybody. But have you noticed that? Has that?
Oh yeah, it's. I don't want to say it's cliquey, but some of my best friends obviously are from the racetrack, but the guys I talk to on a weekly basis at the racetrack are Tommy and Danny that work with Otto and Joe, also with them. And I talk to the Osetic boys, whenever we see one another.
Right.
Snyder family, I've known them, 40 years. And Rabels and Danzers. But, there's at one point I could have told you everybody's name in that pit. And now, you get down through there and it's like, hey, you smile and wave. Who was that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not like it used to be. Like when we're, there's certain, something happens with Otto, Davey jumps right in and I'm chasing, whatever, to give him a hand too. And vice versa. Otto's been in our pit half the summer trying to figure out Tyler's car. He doesn't have to. We've asked for help. Vic Miller, same way. Them guys have been, they've loaned us parts, to get us going here or there. There's people that we made relationships in the past few years that, you'll always value. Vic had surgery here a couple weeks ago because his heart wasn't working right. He wants to go. He got home on Tuesday or Wednesday and wanted to go racing on Friday. And the boys told him he had to stay home.
Oh man, that had to break his heart.
It did.
It's all we live for. I tell Gene all the time, it's like, this is not an addiction. It's a way of life for us.
Yeah.
This is what we grew up with in the summers. Like I tell people all the time, hell, you just went there. You went to Sandusky, you went up to Put-in-Bay while you were up there for High Miler.
Yep.
And let me tell you something. You know how many times I've been to Put-in-Bay? Did I tell you?
No.
0. You know why? Because I was at the racetrack on Saturday.
You don't go on Saturday.
Some of us got to work on Friday. So, but
we went on Thursday. It's vacation.
I know, but all my friends would go on Saturday, so I couldn't go because I had to go to the racetrack on Saturday. So I never got an opportunity to go. I lived there for 38 years, and I'd never been to Put-in-Bay. I'd never been to Kelly's Island. I've seen the videos, I've seen pictures, I've seen all that stuff, but never stepped foot on that island ever.
Yeah,
and it's definitely one of those things where it's sad. It's sad that racing has consumed my life so much like that. So let's see here. Cloaca's got a question. Oh, let's see here. Al Miller says, yes, it is. Al Miller thinks it's clicky. Chris Meyer says, just tuning in. What can Oswego do to make the racing better? Sorry if it's been asked. No, it's not. And we're going to get into that. Okay. So this is a question that Gene's been hounding me about all week to ask you. Did you watch the show last week at all about the East Coast tires and the West Coast, the West Coast tires?
I did catch part of it.
Okay, so what's your thoughts on that?
Well, the tires, they're the same for everybody on the East Coast. The West Coast, they play the variety game because you have options. I don't know why we don't have options other than it costs them money. But if they're going to make the tire for them guys, they can make the tire for us.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Is that something that you'd be up for?
I would take the softest tire they give me and tune the driver to the tire.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, when I started with Hoosier back 89 with Danny Sewell, we had the tire dealership with Gary White, which sponsored Danny at the time, which are very good friends with Saunier. I think that's how he got it.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And
is that how the Malcute engine connection
yes,
came together also? Okay.
That's how that whole thing came together, was Gary White and the Sauniers and the Dave May and that group.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I think we were paying $80 a tire. It didn't matter if it was a left front, left rear, right rear. And everybody says, "Oh, these tires, they're not going to last." Well, I proved them wrong more than once. Back when we used to race, when we were at the racetrack, and we had a heat and a semi and a feature. The night we won, I had a 40 on the right rear that had already had one feature on it. So it had 100 laps on it when we won the feature with it.
Wow.
And I used to get whatever I wanted, because there was times when Dan would say, "Okay, here's what we got in the budget for tires." And I says, "Don't worry about it." At one point, I think I bought 10 tires, and we used them when I wanted to use them instead of when he wanted to use them. And sometimes you just gotta, you gotta practice to get the car better. And if you're practicing on old stuff that's beat up, you're not going to get a good feel for race setup. So
yeah,
it helped. We did get a win there back in 90, but the tire situation, we need an option tire, that's softer. And, long as you play by the rule and say you qualify on it, you got to race it, that's fine. If something happens in the feature, you got to replace it with the same. So you make your own bed so you can sleep in it with it.
Right.
But,
right. So do you think Hoosier's just making a shit tire just so people have to go out and buy new tires every week?
No, because
technology has come so far, though, Satursky. I mean, like these tires should be like really good now. And I'm hearing from a lot of drivers that these tires are just shit now.
The grip is gone, but I equate that to different manufacturers of the same product. Like, use milk, for example. Burn Dairy milk up here is the best you're going to get. But you can buy Price Chopper milk, you can buy Aldi's milk, whatever. Burn Dairy is the best. Chocolate milk by far is the best you're going to have at any place, unless Toff's makes chocolate milk. But it's the chemicals. I've talked to Irish about it before. He says, we'll say we buy a vat of Compound A from Joe's Barbecue, and then we buy Compound A from Pete's Barbecue, and it's supposed to be the same, and it's not. And they're looking at trying to keep costs down. So, this bucket of juice costs, we'll say 100, and this one costs 80. I'm going to buy the $80 one.
Right. Okay, so what you're saying is that the chemicals that they're using, they're not coming from the same place every time. They might go to like you said, Joe's or Pete's or whatever, and they're following the market on pricing.
Yeah.
So if this guy's cheaper, they're going to go with them. So yeah, I get that. So let's see here. Coca said, so if capital letter, if they got a better, softer tire, the cars would need to be slowed down more? Question mark. Let's see here.
The speed right now, they've got it jammed up pretty good, but the cars that are moving are still the same ones that were moving when they had the high downforce package that we had a couple years ago.
Right. Well, I would agree with that for sure. Yeah, definitely. As the phrase goes, cream always rises to the top,
Yeah.
So, and that's for sure. What could they do to adjust the cars on the new tires hypothetically? Jim Kaloka asked that too.
Going to a softer tire? I really don't think you'd have to adjust the car much at all. It would just give you, more traction all the way around. So it would just make the cars better on the racetrack.
Right. So I guess it's probably one of those deals to where you have to, back to the option tire.
Yeah.
It's probably one of those deals where is it a matter of storage for Oswego, you think, for the racetrack?
That's one of my pet peeves. And these guys, I witness it every week when I go pick up tires. I go in and here's my secrets for tires. When I go in the tire trailer to pick them out, I look at the color of the chalk on the tire. Then I look and see if it's the right size.
Right. If it's a yellow chalk, then it's been in there for a while.
Well, yellow is good.
Oh, yellow's good.
Pastel yellow is bad.
Okay. All right.
The tire's been through several heat cycles. The oil is actually coming out of the crayon that they write with.
Uh-huh.
So that the tire is starting to dry up.
Huh. You guys heard that? Satursky's giving you guys, if you guys are paying attention, some tips here. It's funny because 2 years ago, I went up there with Matt Demian. I helped Matt Demian last year. And he says, if you need any tire help or anything like that. And he literally gave me, he's like, don't measure them. Just go with these 4 tire pressures and let me know how it goes. He went out there. He goes, what the hell did you do? I said, I just went off of Mike's tire pressure. He goes, the car's totally different and it's good. Don't touch a thing. So this guy knows his business. I'm telling you guys, I look up to this guy, and I don't think he's ever heard me say that before, but I really do, Mike. I honestly feel you're a legend in super modified racing. I really do. So you got your first win with Warren Coniam.
Yep.
Your first classic win with Warren Coniam. Who'd you get your second one with?
Well, that kid from Hannibal, that Furlong kid that nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah. He was actually the first guest on the show this year.
Yep.
Did you tune in for that?
Believe it or not, he's one of Lenny Fowler's friends.
Well, funny enough, Lenny's the one that hooked that up. Yeah, Lenny's the one that said you need to get Furlong on the show.
Yep. Greg is one of the most non-race car drivers turned race car drivers I've ever met in my life.
Yeah. That's what it kind of seemed like from the first episode. If you guys go back, I want to say it was in April. I had Greg Furlong on the show, and it was kind of just like, I got a race car and you're going to drive it. Yep. He got into an SBS, and the rest is history.
Yep. And our friend Susie Q was my introducing to them guys. We were at Kelly Square one night, and I kind of knew a couple of the guys, and she introduced me to everybody, and we were friends, but we didn't hang out together. It's like, we see one another in passing, and and then a couple years later they had the unforeseen loss of their friend Greg's best friend Michael, and they asked me what I was doing, and I says, Pat's moved on and he's not racing full time or whatever. And they says, hey, you want to come work with us and, give us a hand. And they were still second year with the Super. He had a horrendous first year with the Super. Bent the car up quite a bit, that learning stage, but probably one of the best drivers I've ever worked with.
Really?
Yep. The first couple years, he couldn't tell us what was wrong with the car. It just did this and it did that. He couldn't tell us, to change the spring, change the shock, move the panhard bar. And by the end, he got where he was pretty good at it. He would say, the car was doing this, and he'd pick the points out and, got specific. And in his mind process, he'd be like, well, what if we did this? And PD and I would look at him and kind of either agree with him or like, no, we were thinking about going this way with it.
Uh-huh.
But
so did you, is it because he was raw and he didn't know too much? And so when he got in there, like whatever you guys changes you made, he felt, and that kind of helped him to where he knew what changes you guys were doing, and he could feel it in the car.
Yeah. Sometimes we wouldn't tell him. We would change things in the first couple of years and not tell him exactly what we did. We just tell him we made the car better.
Uh-huh.
And then
go ahead.
For the most part, like a regular Saturday night with the West car and then the CNC car, we take 2 pounds of air out of the right rear and put 2 flats in the left rear to tighten the car up for the feature. We did it every week. We didn't change the shock. We didn't do this and that, to compensate for it. And that car was pretty successful. I think we won more money with that car than we did the Hawk car.
How many classics did you win with him?
With the old car, 3, and 3 with the new one.
Okay, then. So that's what you said, 3 with the old, 3 with the new, right?
Yep.
So that takes you 6. That takes you up to 7 classics then, correct?
Yep.
All right. Where did number 8 come in?
8 came in with Bond.
Okay.
And
how'd that relationship come together?
Well, I kept getting harassed. When are you going to come work with us? On and on and on and on and on. And it finally, Double Deuce team split because Billy and Linda and Bob decided they wanted to get out. So they sold off, everything. And David went his way and Pat went his way. And then Pat got with Graham's and ran a little bit for them. But Bob's mom, I always called her Aunt Linda because she used to work at the Speedway. Well, that was my interpretation because she's that much older and the boys were my age. Well, she's my cousin. Well, her husband was my first cousin. So we're family. So I worked with them for a couple years, and then Bob decided that it was time to retire after, winning his 3rd classic and a championship. So,
as they say, the rest is all history, right?
Right.
So you won your last 2 classics with Tyler Thompson.
Yep.
At any point of your career, did you know, and I'm probably going to know the answer to this, but I have to go ahead and ask the question anyways. And I even asked probably the person you're going to say, I asked him this question. Did you know going into Sunday that the only way you were going to lose that classic is if you guys beat yourself? Can you remember what year and driver that was? Or if ever? Because it's the classic, anything can go wrong.
Yeah, the classic's a crapshoot because a lot of times you get like I forget what year it was, the big fire down in 3. Shoe Senior was in it. Danny Sewell Snyder was in it.
Yeah.
It's a complete crapshoot. You could be the pole sitter. You could get loose coming off a 4. The 3rd place guy tags you and you take out half the field.
Right.
But as far as sitting back saying, if I shoot myself in the foot, we're going to lose, classic wise, I never felt that way.
Okay.
There was times that I knew that we didn't have a good enough car, knowing that we could win it, or I knew we had a top 5 car, but I didn't think we could win it. And then there was other times that it's like, holy shit, this car is really good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like with Bob, he fell back way farther than our plan was. And when it was time to go, he took off, and I said to Eddie, I says, the car is way better than I thought it was going to be. And there was a couple yellows. I think, actually it was Dave Danzer spun coming off a 2, and that brought Bob back to the pack, and it kind of separated out again. And I think it was Otto who spun almost the same place that gave Bob a shot at going to get the 99 car for the win.
Okay. So Chris Myers asks a really good question, and this is in you being the tire guy in this race team. He says, have you ever seen a strategy work the way Tyler Thompson's did when he won his first classic?
Nobody's ever played that game before.
Were you surprised by it?
No. I'm surprised that he lost the lead to Bellinger, but what happened there is we told him to slow down because it was only like 10, 12 laps into the race.
Yeah.
And he slowed down too much, and Brandon drove by him, and the next lap he went back by him, and, you know.
He said that ain't going to happen again.
Yeah.
But it seemed like that Tyler, when he won that first classic, he was like balls to the wall, all out the whole time.
Yep.
And I remember talking to DJ. DJ finished second that year. And he's like, I was just waiting for that car to break loose. It's like there's no way he's going to be able to go ahead and go that hard, that long.
Yeah.
And not be able to go ahead and start getting loose. And it seemed like the car stayed underneath of him the whole time. Was you as shocked as everybody else was?
No. I don't know. I don't really show that much emotion. It's just, I was a little nervous at the beginning because I think we started 5th. We knew we could get out front and get away. And it was just getting through those few cars to get up there and go so we could get away.
Mm-hmm.
But once he cleared traffic, like 20 laps into the race, it's like, okay, we'll see what everybody else has got to see if they can come get us.
Right. So you guys were just, you guys were setting the table pretty much, just saying, hey, look, here's where we're at. And if you're going to be better than us, you're going to have to come catch us. You know,
Yeah.
That was your guys' game plan. Oh, all right. I get it. Yeah. And then you guys wound up, he hit the inside hub rail and broke the left front shock. What was it, like 10 laps in or something like that?
We're not sure where the shock broke. But we get to the scales and they wanted us to take the hood off, and, you know, so they could do some of their inspection work. We take the hood off and Davey looks down and he goes, holy. And I'm like, what's the matter? And he goes, look at the fuel cell. And I'm looking at it. I go, what's wrong with the fuel cell? He says, look at the shock. And the shock was just laying on top of the fuel cell.
Oh my goodness.
So that's one of those things that kept the car underneath him, you know, the whole race, because it was, you know, that unheard of chassis adjustment that kept the car tight the whole time.
Yeah. No kidding. Well, that makes a lot of sense then, why he could probably go ahead and go all out, and the car wasn't breaking loose because it was already tight as it was. As it was.
Yeah.
So Steve said the fire was a 99. I was pretty sure that it was too. I just wasn't 100% sure, but thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. God. So with that being said, let me ask you a couple questions. I'm going to go ahead and get you out of here, Mike. I just want to say I appreciate you so much coming on here. So it's just a few questions I always ask everybody. What is your favorite food?
Favorite food? Probably, I would call it surf and turf. A big old fat lobster tail and a nice juicy steak. Medium,
Okay.
of course.
Of course, always. Yes. Anybody that doesn't has a problem with them. So if I go into your cabinet back there, is there any type of snack that Mike Satursky has that it's always going to be in the house?
Believe it or not, walnuts.
You're looking because you got them close by, don't you?
They're sitting over on the table next to the couch.
Yeah. So walnuts is your snack, and it was sitting on the couch watching TV.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Favorite type of beverage? Alcohol or alcohol and non-alcoholic?
Well, being that there's only two choices, Angry Orchard or any really good cider,
Uh-huh.
and water.
Okay.
I don't drink soda. I haven't. I think it's been 9 years. I mean, you're behind Susie. She quit cold turkey, and I saw that she did it, and she says, "Hey, I quit, and I feel a lot better." And it's like, okay,
Yeah. That's good. That's real good, man. I'm proud of you for that. Chris Myers says Mama Joe's pies.
yeah, that's an addiction. Rolo just brought me, I don't know, it was like $45 worth of pies last weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never knew that about you. I didn't know you was a big Mama Joe's pies. So yeah. So Rob says, all right, thank you very much, Rob, for doing that. You know what? And I'll do the same thing. I'll follow you up, and I'll put his name out there also as well. So do you have any superstitions?
I used to, but they don't matter anymore. You know, I was looking through some pictures, and I had my Red Sox hat on. Won a classic with that. My gray Red Sox hat. It's got 18, 19 wins on it. I had a Coca-Cola hat that's got a half a dozen wins on it. So if you catch me at the racetrack without a hat on, we ain't winning.
You know, there might be people that try to steal your hat now.
Right.
So who was your favorite driver to ever work with out of all the drivers you worked with over all the years? Who was your favorite?
That's a tough one.
It could be as a driver. It could just be as a person. It could just be winning. It just anything. Who is that one driver that sticks out with Satursky that's just like, wow, I had a lot of fun with him?
I don't have one. I have three.
Okay, let's hear them.
And Pat Abel, for one, is the most intense driver I've ever worked with. He's 100% game face the whole time. He's always thinking about how to make the car better. Was a phenomenal driver. I'm sure if you gave him a fire suit now, it wouldn't change any. Jeffrey might be without a ride. Furlong, like I said before, came from nowhere, fabulous race car driver. And this young kid we got now, that Thompson kid, he's starting to get old. He's almost 25.
A little long in the tooth.
Yeah. The kid's got raw talent. You know, the three of them are pretty unbelievable in their own part and own time frame.
Right. All right. Okay. Okay. So let's see here. Tyrone Thomas asks, how many classics has he won? He's won 10. He's won 10 as a crew member.
Yep.
And is your part of the race team? Are you the tire specialist? Are you the tire guy? Like, what is your role on the race team today, and what was it in the past?
For the most part, like right now with the 2-car deal, I can go pick out the tires. I mount them. I take care of them. That's my job on race day. I try not to get anybody else's way while they're trying to do anything else. I need a hand. My hands are there. I know how to do 99% of this stuff. Don't ask me to adjust your valves because I don't do them like everybody else does them. But there isn't a job that I can't do and haven't done. Davey and I with Tyler communicate a lot on what to change. Like I'll give him my input from what I'm seeing from the tires, how they're grading, the tire temperatures, if they're crowning, if the tire's hot here or there. So I can tell him that, like sometimes the left rear edge, the inside edge will start getting hot. And I says, we're driving the car off this corner. I said, we need to do something. I don't care what you do, but we need to get some of the drive out of here so it frees up the tire so it'll last. Right. And it's a group effort with Davey and I and talking to Tyler, getting information out of him so we can make the car better.
Gotcha. Another question, this as a random question that I always ask, who are the next up and coming drivers? And do not say this guy. All right. He's here. All right. He's here. He's arrived. But who's the next up and coming driver that you have your eye on, whether it be SBS or 350?
Well, most of the 350 guys, it's really tough to say because most of them been around a few years. Mm-hmm. I watched the Hawksby kids grow up working for Joey for a few years. And then their quarter midget tracks around the corner from the house. So I used to go over, Mike Bruce and I, and help him out. I didn't do it a lot, 6-8 times during the summer. But of the two of them, it's kind of weird watching them now because Talon is better than Dawson, but Dawson was the robot on the racetrack. Like you could put a quarter out there. Danny Connors Jr. was the same way when he ran quarter midgets. You could put a quarter on either end of the racetrack and they'd run over it in a 50-lap race. They'd run the quarter over 49 times. They were meticulous at it. But I don't really. Josh is the one that I think you're going to see a long future if he decides to stay at Oswego. He's got some other stuff coming, which you should probably get him on the show.
Had him on last year. He's the one that dropped the dime that he's got that Sportsman modified.
Yeah, well, he's got other stuff coming.
Oh, does he? All right.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to sit down with him at Oswego. I'll see if I can go ahead and get an interview, an exclusive with him, and see if he wants to talk about it. So yeah, I rapped with him and his dad very briefly at Oswego, Sandusky for High Miler. As you know, I'm being pulled in a many hundreds different directions, so I can only stop and talk with people for a few minutes at a time. So, but yeah, I'll when I get to Oswego, I'm definitely going to go ahead and start to do more of this show, like do interviews and stuff like that with drivers and stuff. So
there's one other kid that I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't know what his car owner is going to do, but the Otto kid, he ain't never going to grow up. He's just going to get better.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. And he's showing it. He's showing it this year for sure. He's flexing his muscles for sure this year. That is without a doubt. What is the biggest challenge facing super modifieds today?
The group as a whole not being on the same page.
Is that with ISMA and Oswego, or is that just everything? Like, do you feel? I feel this, okay, and I'm gonna say it on here right now. I think because there is only maybe total nationwide, I want to say big block super modifieds, or even the West Coast guys, and I'll include those guys too. 50 super modifieds coast to coast, maybe if you're lucky. Yeah. I feel that they should all be on one rule, and I think it should be. Don't mean to be biased or anything like this. I've watched super modifieds races with wings my whole entire life, but Oswego has more cars than anybody else does. I think that they should be on Oswego rules, And then after time, if we could build the division back up again, then go to wing super modified racing again. That's my opinion. What do you think?
Well, as much as I hate this little wing, the racing is better with the little wing than it is the top wing at Oswego. And until we try it someplace else, we'll never know. But I think that package, in some sort, we may have to vary it a little bit. But I think if you took all the East Coast stuff, the ISMA MSS group, Oswego, and the New England guys, and all put them on the same wing, I think it would be more beneficial for super modified racing staying alive than the current direction it's going.
Absolutely, 100% agree. Absolutely. And that's what I feel that should be done. I'm hearing some rumors about ISMA. Not going to start them on here yet. I'll clear them up when I get to Oswego. But yeah, I'm not hearing anything good about ISMA and what their future is going to look like for 2026. I heard that there might be a racetrack that might get involved and some things might get changed.
Yeah.
But it's just rumor. And I'm sure you heard about it also as well. So real quick question. Chris Myers asked this a while back. Have they ever tested American racers at Oswego without the wing?
Yes.
They have.
Yes.
What was that like?
I don't believe it was really a fair test because it was in October and it was about 40 degrees out and my hands were froze.
Yeah. That's definitely not even a fair shake right there.
Yeah.
So I would love to see the tire wars come back between like how they were between Goodyear and Hoosier. That was so much. It was so fun. It was so fun back then. Because guys are running Hoosiers on the front and Goodyear's on the back, or Hoosiers on the back and Goodyear's on the front, and just I don't know. It made, I think, better racing. You know, I really did.
We ran Thompson one year. I had a Goodyear on the left front, a Hoosier on the right front, and M&H's on the back.
How'd you guys do?
We're running fourth or fifth. This was with the Tobin car, and the shock clamp on the left rear loosened up. So the left rear started dribbling like a basketball and he pulled in. I mean, we wouldn't have won, geez. But we were a solid top 5 car for the first time with a wing on it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So, all right, 2 more questions and that's it. Who's your most influential person in your career of racing?
Probably Mom, because she's the one that dragged me into this mess.
I would probably have to say the same thing about my father also as well. So for sure, I get that. Yeah. It's never good for your parents to introduce you to drugs. And
yeah,
racing
exactly.
is a drug for sure. Okay, last one right here. What was your most memorable classic?
It's probably always got to be the last one because it's the one that's freshest. I
knew you were going to use that Tom Brady line. I knew you were going to use that Tom Brady line. I was going through this. I was driving today, and I'm like, he's going to say the last one. I guarantee it.
But actually, probably the one that broke Randy Riskus' heart. So 2000, I think.
Mm-hmm.
When Greg passed him with 3-4 laps to go.
Right. That one right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then 2001 that Snyder won? That was a great race.
Oh, that was a phenomenal race. And I'm so glad I went to that race. I am so glad that I was in attendance to that race. I told Gene, Gene's like, it's 200 laps and nothing really happens to like lap 50 to like lap 150 with 50 to go. That's it. But that's the fun part because everybody's playing the chess game right now for 150 laps or 125 laps. guys are setting themselves up for that last 75, last 50 lap jaunt that they're going to go ahead and they're going to make that run on. So that's the thing that I love about the Classic. Okay, so I lied. We're going to ask you one more last question, and that's going to be it. Let me go ahead and find it here. Okay. And I know we're talking about Classic. We're only we're only 2 weeks away from Classic weekend, folks. So I'm sorry. A lot of this is going to be talking about Classic this week, and it's going to be next week also as well. What makes the Classic special to you personally?
I don't know. I think it's the thing, getting together with my friends one last time before it starts snowing up here. You know, that word you can't say.
It doesn't exist.
Down there, it might not.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, getting together and trying to, you know, say hey to everybody, and we'll see you in the spring, and just, you know, hanging out at camp, seeing what's going on out there and wandering around a little bit and see what kind of commotion's going on. As far as the race, I don't know. It's not like it used to be. When you were in the track before, you know, you did things a certain way, and now it's hurry up and get out of here.
Oh, really?
Even though you're there all day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, because I remember going into the pits after the races, and there was just thousands and thousands of people there in the pits, and
Yep.
you know, autographs and drinking beer and just all that stuff. Like, it's just phenomenal. You know,
Yep.
I remember I got my first 12 pack of beer from Joe Gosick's race team. They had so much beer, they were just giving it away. I just walked over. I think I was like, I was 14 years old. I just grabbed the 12 pack and just took it back to my parents. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm this kid walking down the street.
Yeah, whatever year it was that Schulich drove for Skip Matzik and ran second, like 99% of the race.
Yeah. Yeah.
We went down to Holiday Harbor, which is called Steamers now.
Okay.
And Skip had 3 or 4 rooms down there for everybody to stay in. And every bathtub was full of Budweiser beer and ice.
The good old days.
And that party lasted, I don't know, well into Monday.
Oh.
Like Monday night.
So for you people that don't know, after lap 12, correct me if I'm wrong, Satursky, after lap 12, if you were in second place, you got a 12 pack of beer for every lap you were in second, correct?
I think it was a 6-pack.
Was it a 6-pack?
And they didn't count the first 10, and they doubled the last 10.
Okay. All right. Is that how it went? Okay. I don't know why I thought it was a 12 pack, but yeah. But okay. So that being said, got to go ahead and go. I definitely ran long on this show. I appreciate you guys all coming on here and talking with us and asking questions. It was a really great show. Mike, I am so happy that you came on here and you did this. You have no idea what this means to me, and I cannot wait to see you here in a couple weeks, and maybe we'll have some hard ciders, and we'll shoot the shit.
You got it.
All right, brother. Well, you take care, man. And ladies and gentlemen, Mike fucking Satursky. Bye for now.
Good night, man.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.